So this is the new member orientation. This is the second required class that I have new members take. My name is Chris Peterson. I work here at the MLS. Real quick, just to talk about the handout that was there where you signed in. It just kind of goes over the different products and services the MLS provides. It's not the order where we're going to cover things this afternoon, but it just kind of goes through and shows you what each one does. For example, what Cloud CMA does, or Instanet, or Form Simplicity, those kind of things. The second page that says member benefits, who does what, that just kind of goes through and shows you, like, if you're looking for mobile access, what tools to use. If you're doing the forms, what are the forms programs, that kind of stuff. Just kind of as a way to kind of get to know what each program does. And we'll talk about those this afternoon as we go through this. This is just really meant to be a high-level overview of what the products and services are, and to talk about them. We have individual classes that go through a lot of the different things as well. Like we have Paragon classes, Instanet, RPR. So obviously this isn't that class, but we'll just kind of do a high-level overview of those tools today. We're going to look at the tools and resources the MLS has available, IMLS products and services that we provide, a little bit about Paragon, and then we'll have an antitrust presentation as well. Before we jump in and get going, do you guys have any questions you want to make sure that we talk about today? As we go through it, of course, if you have questions, definitely ask them. All right, so to start with, we want to talk about some websites just to be aware of. The IMLS member website, which we'll talk more about later on, is imlsmembers.com. That's for agent use. It's got your different products and tool information. The resources from the MLS are there. Our consumer website is intermountainmls.com, where consumers can come search for listings. We'll talk more about that later on. The NAR industry site is realtor.org. The state association who provides your contracts, that's idahorealtors.com. And then to access Paragon on your mobile device, imlsmobile.com. If you go to that site, there's links there to the App Store app for Paragon Connect for both iOS and Android. There's also a link to the mobile site there. And then ParagonIMLS.com is the login page for the MLS. So basic MLS services are $100 a quarter per agent, $50 a quarter for admins. And it's called Basic MLS Service, but there's not a professional or advanced. It's the same for everybody, $100 a quarter to access the MLS, which includes unlimited access. You're not limited to how long or how many times you can log in, whether you're using a computer, a mobile device, the mobile app, or other tools to access the data. We have our training center here in Boise that we provide training at. We do training at association locations as well as other parts of the state. We have classes basically on everything the MLS provides, on Paragon, our mobile tools, Instanet, Cloud CMA, Form Simplicity, RPR, listing input classes. Some classes, some products we don't have classes on. Like people ask if we ever had a super class. Typically, we don't do a super class because it's really easy to open a lockbox. I mean, we'd be here 10 minutes and go home. Now, like if there's ever an update or something, like if we were to have a lockbox exchange and get new lockboxes, there'd be training about that. But most things, the thing to remember in 2026 is when you get a new app on your phone, what class did you take to learn how to use that app? You didn't. You learned how to use it by using it, and a lot of the MLS tools are the same way. We also provide preparation assistance for the IMLS data forms. If you're looking for assistance with the Idaho Realtors forms, like the purchase and sale agreement and stuff, you would reach out to them. And then we also do our own in-house technical support for Paragon Classic and Paragon Connect, which means when you're calling support, you're talking to us here at our office. You're not talking to somebody in another state or another country. Phone support's available when we're open, 8:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. There's no phone support evenings and weekends. And a lot of other products like Cloud CMA or Instanet, while we can answer questions on those, they have their own support. We can't see on the back end account settings or things like that. If it's about integration with the MLS, we definitely can help with that, but we don't have all the information for all those other products. All right, so we want to talk about the MLS Gateway for a minute here. So on the Gateway, the applications and member services are all the products and tools. Other services and tools is where your account information is. If you ever need to change your information, you can go here to Update Profile. That'll let you go in and update your email address, your phone number with the MLS on your listings. That'll update Supra as well. As far as everything else like Cloud CMA or Instanet or any of the RPR, you just need to reach out to those individual products to change your information, because we don't feed data into all those products. We don't pull data from those products. So just keep that in mind if you ever change like your email address or something. And then at the bottom of each of these sections is Show More, and that's going to bring up additional information. So for example, on the applications and member services, there's other programs there than just the top 10 that come up when you see them. and all these other programs and products are part of the MLS. And with the exception of List Track and Everlance, they're provided by the MLS for you to use. There's no cost, and nothing that you click on will charge you anything, so you're not going to get accidentally charged by some product not knowing it, but all those tools are integrated with the MLS. On the Show More, on the other side, you've got on the other services and tools, in addition to your membership information, the link to the public stats, the analytics, the member website are all there as well from our membership gateway. Our members page, imlsmembers.com, when you're logged in, you'll see the menu across the top here. You'll see that your name's over here when you're logged in. If you go to the education page, that's where you can find the list of upcoming classes. The how-to videos and recorded classes are there that you can view. How-to videos are videos that are less than 10 minutes on how to do things. The recorded classes are, like it sounds, an actual recording of a class. So if the attendance doesn't work, you can't come in person, you can view those recorded classes to get the content as well. So we just were kind of talking about this a little bit. Internet Data Exchange, IDX, is the umbrella term for listing on agent and broker websites. Section 18 of the rules governs how that can be set up and what can be displayed. But there are a lot of different third-party vendors, both national and local vendors, that provide that ability for agents to have. People ask all the time, which one's the best? We don't have a list of the best or the worst. We just have a list. And so if you see a website that you like that a brokerage or an agent has, somewhere on that site it tells you who created it. You could reach out to them and they could create something similar for you.
You guys don't do data feeds anymore for someone to build your own website?
They would have to sign up as a vendor.
Okay.
I mean, if they signed up as a vendor, they could get that.
Okay.
So, but I mean, they'd be treated like any other vendor providing sites, even if it's just a one site they're doing. So, yep. Brokerage firms can also get their own custom data feeds, and sometimes you're able to frame in the search site from the brokerage into your own agent site, so you don't have to have a separate search site available. And like we just talked about, on the Bridge Agreement or Bridge Interactive section of the gateway is where you can go in and set all that up, sign up for the vendors. All right, so Supra is the lockbox system that we use. There is a $50 activation fee. There's two versions of the eKey. The eKey Basic, which turns your phone into a key, is $15.85 a month. The eKey Professional is $28.44 a month, and that turns your phone into a key, and in addition lets you download an agent roster and give you other Supra tools, like they have a home tour app that you can share with your clients, and they can rate rooms and rate the property as the showing's occurring. You can get live feedback, and that's the Professional. You can't share your lockbox key, which is a $500 fine, but most people aren't going to just share their phone with somebody. And then you can buy lock boxes from Intermountain MLS for $120 plus tax. You can also buy them from other agents. If you buy from another agent, just get a purchase of sale, and then the MLS membership staff can transfer it into your name. If you're getting a lockbox from someone who's not part of Intermountain MLS, you want to make sure it's going to work with our system, because the way Supra is set up, it's kind of like back when phones used to be locked to a certain carrier. The lock boxes are locked to certain regions. And so if you get a lockbox, for example, from Nevada, it will probably not work with Intermountain MLS. But if you call Supra with the serial number, they can tell you if it will work with ours, get it deactivated wherever it is, then we can reactivate it here. All right, so we're going to watch a little video here on Supra.
Welcome to Supra. We are happy to have you join the hundreds of thousands of real estate agents using the Supra system today. Supra is a leading global provider of key access solutions. Supra is a dedicated partner that real estate organizations can rely on for important details that make listings and showings go smoothly, so you can focus on closing the sale. The Supra story began with the first lockbox system designed for real estate in 1955. It was a way to make it easier for real estate agents to locate listing keys to show properties. As the real estate industry has advanced over the years, Supra has led the way with mechanical and digital solutions that are driven forward by improved convenience and homeowner peace of mind. Today, over 500 real estate associations and multiple listing services across North America have implemented the Supra system, enabling real estate agents to efficiently show listed homes, helping you drive success and close sales faster. The Supra system is designed to provide you with access and instant information. The system includes the key box, the Supra eKey app with basic or professional service, and Supra Web. The keystone of the Supra system is the iBox BT LE Keybox, placed on listings for sale. The Bluetooth keybox has a large key container that can hold up to 5 listing keys, or 2 gate cards and 2 keys. The one-step shackle release with a 4-digit shackle code makes it easy to place the keybox on properties. And its reliability is backed by a long-life battery. Access to the listing keys in the Supra keybox is through the Supra eKey app on your smartphone and a 4-digit PIN. No cell service is needed to show properties. When you show a listing, there's no need to carry listing printouts or switch to other apps to find information. When you open a keybox, real-time data displays in the eKey app, including listing data and current property notes. Listing agents can even leave last-minute instructions to showing agents without visiting the property. Easily manage your keyboxes through the eKey app. Assign them to listings, customize listing access hours, and change shackle codes. You can even add your business card to the keybox so your information displays to showing agents. Each showing that occurs tracks who showed the property, what time the showing started, and when it ended. And you can receive this information in the eKey app, as an email, or as a text message. You can also let your homeowners receive notifications when showings start and end at their home. Agent Alert is a convenient feature built into the eKey app. With the press of a button, you have a simple and discreet way to send an alert message to priority contacts. The message and up to 3 contacts are set up in advance. eKey Professional Service provides additional time-saving features. View current listings and agent roster information, view map and turn-by-turn directions to listings at the tap of a button, and create real-time property notes for buyers' agents to view when opening the keybox, all without leaving the eKey app. eKey Professional also lets you invite your buyers to use the Supra Home Tour app. Your buyers can rate rooms and features during home showings and add comments and photos, making it easy for them to compare favorites. As the showing agent, you can view their feedback automatically in your eKey app, helping you stay connected to buyers and close sales faster. Manage your key and keybox information in one place at the Supra Web Agent website. Set up real-time alerts, showing notifications, and view detailed showing reports. Even create custom showing reports to send to your sellers. The Supra Web Agent website is also available as a mobile version within your eKey app. The Supra system provides many features that benefit you and your clients. Visit supraekey.com for training resources and additional information. With Supra, you know you're working with a proven leader in the real estate industry, a dedicated partner that real estate organizations can rely on to handle important details that make listings and showings go smoothly, so you can focus on closing the sale. With Supra, unlocking the door is just the beginning.
Any questions about Supra? If you don't have the eKey yet, you can talk to membership. They'll have you download the app, get you the authorization code, and then you'll have access on your phone. So that's all you have to do. All right. So the next thing we want to talk about is Paragon Connect. Now, there's really 2 parts of Paragon Connect. There's mobile Paragon Connect, which we'll talk about first, and then Paragon Connect on your computer as well. Paragon Connect is where Paragon is going. So the more time you spend in Paragon Connect, the easier your life's going to be, because Paragon Classic is going to go away eventually. So if you're accessing the gateway on your phone, Paragon Connect will open up that mobile version of the site. You can also download it from the App Store or the Google Play Store. If you go to imlsmobile.com, the links are there for the app stores as well as the mobile site. And it's a mobile version of Paragon Connect. It's a dynamic site, so it works on any size device you're on. Of course, if you download the app, you're on the app. And it's a tool just for agents. There's not a consumer side of Paragon Connect. And so from the dashboard, you tap the menu at the top, you go to properties, enter your property class, and then you can enter your criteria you want to search with. You can do a map search. You can use the map to do a near me search to find properties near you. When you're sharing listings, they always share in a consumer format, so there's not a way to accidentally text the agent view to someone. But as an agent, you're going to see all the listing information. And when you're logging into the app, you want to remember that the passwords don't synchronize. So typically your password for the app will not be the same as the gateway login. And the first time you log into the app, if it tells you your password doesn't work, it just means you need to create one. And then once you create the password, then you've got the password that you would use to log directly into Paragon Connect. And if you have biometrics like Face ID or fingerprint scan set up on your phone, you can use that as well to access Paragon Connect. So I'm going to bring up Paragon Connect on my phone here. Now, we have a mobile tools class that goes more in depth with Paragon Connect, so we're not going to go into everything about it here. But we're going to talk about the Near Me search here for a second. And really, that's one of the reasons why you'd be using it on your phone is you want to find properties near you. And so there's the Near Me search icon right here. Now, before I tap on it, one thing I want to bring up is you want to remember that the MLS isn't a consumer tool. When you go to Zillow, you don't have 20 years of sold data to pull up. You have active listings, period. That's all you get. So when you're in the MLS, in Paragon Connect or Paragon Classic, you've got the entire MLS, 20 years of sold data, 19 years of expired and canceled data, all the actives and all the pendings. So by default, if you go to do the Near Me search and you haven't put a filter in to only show you actives, it's going to show you all of that. So I've already set up a filter to only show me actives. In the mobile tools class, we talk about that. So I'm going to tap here on that Near Me search. And of course, around me, there's nothing because we're in a commercial area. The filter I'm talking about is right up here at the top. If you didn't have just active in there, you can tap on there and come here to the status and put all the actives in, and then you would only see actives on your map. So now, let's say I move west. We'll move to Meridian. Let's get a little farther in here. There's Black Cat. So now listings are going to start showing up on the map, and then I can tap on this listing here on Ski Jump Lane, and I can see it's a residential income listing. And so let's move up here a little bit farther. There's a listing on Saw Creek, right? Blue Creek. So here's this property on Blue Creek. It's a coming soon listing. I can scroll down, view the property details. So all the information is here. After the features, there's the public remarks, there's the agent remarks, there's the agent information, any documents they've uploaded, property history information, public record data if it's available, valuations from the Easy Value is from Paragon, the RVM is from RPR, Realtors Property Resource. Both of these, different from a lot of online valuation tools, include sold data. So it's got sold data in their algorithm there. Then there's a mortgage calculator. Buyer demand shows you how many contacts entered in the MLS by agents have searches that match this property. So for this one, there's 124. And then community reports uses a zip code to give you community data. And if I wanted to share this listing, there's the share icon right there. And if I'm sharing it with consumers, I can email, text, or copy the link. If I want to share it with agents, I can email or copy the link. The sharing with members will require them to log into Paragon Connect. So they'll get the link, whether it's via email or the link you send them, and they'll have to log into Paragon Connect. When you share it with consumers, they don't log in. They just click the link to view it. So let's say I wanted to text this property again. I've got the property here that I'm viewing. Tap on that little share icon. I can tap here on text. And then it brings up my texting app, and I can put in the name of the person or their phone number, and then it copies in the link. And then I send it. And then this is the text they get. There's the link right there. And it's a mobile-friendly link, so if they're on their phone, it's going to work. If they're on their large screen device, it's going to work. People ask all the time, well, how do you know it's not an agent link? Well, here we are on the detail information, and below the public remarks is no agent remarks. So let's go back here to Paragon Connect. And so that's sharing a listing with Paragon Connect. And again, if I wanted to do a search, I can go up here to the menu, go to properties, choose my property class, and then here's all the criteria that I can enter in there. And Paragon Connect, like I said, is a dynamic site, so it works on any size device. Of course, the app is going to be made for mobile devices. The only real difference with the app versus the mobile site is you can't get push notifications from a site. You can from the app. And so the app is going to be an app experience where if you're on the mobile site, it's not an app experience. So that's Paragon Connect for your phone. So let's talk about Paragon Classic for a minute, which only works on computers. If you tried to use us on a mobile device, it would not be a good experience. It's not meant to be. That's why we have Paragon Connect. And like I mentioned, it's eventually going to go away. They don't have a sunset date yet. But if I was a new agent, I would spend less time in Paragon Classic and more time in Paragon Connect because that's where everything's going. In searching in Paragon Classic, you go to search, choose your property class, enter your criteria. There's the search button that'll bring up the listings. If you want to include a map, there's a map search tab right here at the top. Put in your map shape, and then there's the search button to bring up listings. When you run a search, I should also mention, if you want to use these map layers, they're on the map page as well. The map layers are really there for people that were using the old MLS areas. The map layers kind of emulate those areas. So if somebody wanted to search in Area 600, it's got kind of Area 600 drawn there for them. Once you bring up your listings, you can, of course, select listings to do things with them. If you want to export them to an Easy CMA or to Cloud CMA or something, you can do that. And then Paragon Connect is where Paragon is going. So here's Paragon Connect on a large screen device. And so it looks very similar, but now instead of just showing one person, it's showing 5 people on that contact section. And then it's 100% responsive. Everything in here in Paragon Connect is the same that's in Paragon Classic. There's nothing that's missing. All the data is there. And you get there from the gateway or logging in directly or from the mobile app. Paragon Classic or desktop has been around for a long time, and it's, like I said, going to be sunsetted. And there's nothing being built into it. If there are errors or issues, they correct them, but they're not putting anything new in Paragon Connect and Paragon Classic. Paragon Connect is where everything new is. In fact, we'll talk about a few things here in a few minutes. Easy CMA is something we've had for like 2 or 3 years. It's always been in Paragon Connect. There's a link from Paragon Classic. If I go here to create an Easy CMA, you'll notice it brings up Paragon Connect to take me into do an Easy CMA. So it's in Paragon Connect. It is not in Paragon Classic. And so Paragon Connect is where everything is. Just like we saw on my phone, I go to the menu, go to the residential, put in my criteria, there's the search button. When you do a search in Paragon Connect, it comes up with this thumbnail view because that's the view that's most useful on mobile devices as well. But you can go to the view menu at the top and you can still view a spreadsheet or a map view. They also have the detail view, of course, you can see there. And then when you're viewing listings, there's this third-party integrations link, which links to all the different tools like RPR or the tax tools or Cloud CMA or Instinet or Form Simplicity to export data from that listing into that program. And if you're on multiple properties, the same icon is here to be able to export multiple listings into those products. In Paragon Connect, one of the reports they have is called Result Analytics. It basically lets you run a search and then gives you analytics based off that result. So like the number of listings, the days on market, high, low, average, and median, price per square foot, sale to list price ratio if you've got sold listings, list price analytics, all of that is built into Paragon Connect. And of course you can PDF that or share that however you want to do that. So Easy CMA I mentioned earlier is a tool that's built into Paragon Connect that lets you create CMAs. It's mobile friendly, so you can do it on your phone, do it on your computer. And it's called Easy CMA because it has a built-in comp engine. So it'll find comparables for you. The thing to remember is that's going to work where there's property activity. So Ada County, Canyon County, it's going to work pretty well. But if you get into like Gem County or over in Payette County where there's less activity, it's not going to work as well because there's not activity. But you can still always run your own search and export those comparables into Easy CMA to create that report. And it's by default is shared as a link so someone can open it easily on their mobile device. It's not created as an 8.5 by 11 PDF. We were given a statistic from Paragon about 1.5 years ago that over 90% of the links that are clicked on that are emailed out of our system are opened on mobile devices. I don't think that's unique to listing information. Think about people in your real life. When someone goes to buy tickets for a movie, are they getting out their laptop? They're doing it on their phone. So when you send something from anything to a client, they're opening it on their phone 9 times out of 10. And I mean, even your electronic signings, they're signing that purchase and sale agreement on their phone. I mean, unless someone's got a computer there in front of all the time, they're doing that on their phone. That's that. I mean, and again, if you just take a minute and think about your life, you'll realize that's what's happening. That's what everyone's doing. And so having something natively visible on a mobile device is very important, because who wants to pinch and zoom on their phone to look at an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, which is what a PDF is. So you can add your buyers and sellers into Paragon Connect or Classic as contacts. When they're a buyer, you can set them up for the Collab Center, and the way that happens is you put them in as a contact, you create their search and assign it to them, and then turn on the Collab Center. And in the Paragon Advanced class, we go through that whole process. But in the Collab Center, they can come here and view the properties that match their search, and in addition, do their own searches. They can come here and mark the listings as favorite, possible, rejected. They can tag different categories if they want to do that. They can leave comments, and everything they do, you see in Paragon Connect or Paragon Classic. So they're in the Collab Center, you're in Paragon. Like Paragon Connect, the Collab Center is mobile friendly. There's even a Collab Center app they can download. They can do a near me search. They can, like I said, do their own searches. And when they view properties, it's a client view. So they're not seeing agent information, they're seeing just consumer information. You can add your seller, if you're a listing agent, in there on the Collab Center for sellers, and they're able to see what's going on with their listing. So for example, they can see how many agent and consumer reviews it's had over a certain amount of time, or how many times on the Collab Center it's been marked as favorite, possible, rejected, how many clients versus agents have viewed it, how many searches it matches, how many times it's been emailed. And they can also see competitive listings nearby. And in Idaho, as a non-disclosure state, there's no way for consumers to see what homes sell for. There's no data out there for them. But if you have a seller and they're set up for the sell side of the Collab Center, they would be able to see those properties near them that have sold, and that way they can see have their property listed at a competitive rate to be able to sell as well. You can also text from Paragon Connect or Paragon Classic, even if you're on your computer. So just to show you how that would work, so let's bring up Paragon Connect here. So I did this search a little bit earlier. So let's say I wanted to text these 4 properties. So when I'm here on my computer and I go here to the share icon, I have the same options we had before when I was on my phone, and here's text. But of course, I'm not texting it from my phone. It isn't going to come from my phone number. It's going to come from a generic Paragon number. Just like when you get a text message from Papa Murphy's or Michael's or whatever retailers you get text messages from, they're not coming from the manager's phone number at Taco Bell. They're coming from some generic number. Same thing with Paragon, but it's always the same number. So if I go here to text someone, they have to be one of your contacts. So you can add a contact on the fly or select from one of your contacts. And then you select their phone number. And then when I hit send, there's the text. And you'll notice they're all coming from this same number. There's just the most recent one right there. And I just tap on that, and it comes up with the same similar link that we had before that's mobile friendly. They can go to a property, they can view the photos. So it's gonna have your name in there, it's gonna have your mobile number. So even though it's not coming from your number, it's there. And that's of course only if you're texting from your computer. If you're texting from your phone, it's coming from your texting app, so then it's coming from you. And so that's how you can text from Paragon Connect or from Paragon Classic. If you don't have a seller and you're a listing agent, there's a listing insights report that also lets you see some of those same things, like how many times it's been emailed, how many searches it matches, how many favorite, possible, rejected, and also the competitive listings. So something that's been added, I guess it was a year ago or so, into Paragon Connect. Again, there's a link to it from Paragon Classic, but it's in Paragon Connect, and it's called Photo Match. So what Photo Match lets you do is upload a photo, and then it finds listings that have those same characteristics, like stainless steel appliances or a covered patio. So for example, if I go back in here into Paragon Connect, and I go here to the properties section, here is Photo Match, and then it explains how it works. The Photo Match is also on the Collab Center for consumers to use. So I go here to upload photos. Photos for training. Oh, I guess this is the one we're using. And so Here's a stainless steel refrigerator in a house, in a kitchen. So we'll select that. And so now it's looking for stainless steel appliances. And you'll notice that's what it's found. And it gives you a percent. Now you'll notice that these properties are all over. There's Eagle, Jerome, Caldwell, Nampa, McCall. So there isn't any other criteria going in with photo match. But you can come up here to the map, and then you can drill down to where you want to be when you're looking at properties. And so stainless steel appliances is a great example, because that will never be a feature item. Because how would they decide how to do that? Stainless steel, white, eggshell, vintage. There's never a way they could decide on what categories to use, so that won't be something in there. But I can scroll down here. Let's say I'm looking for ones in Meridian. So we'll zoom in here a little farther. And let's say I want to look at this one that's off of Meridian Road right there. And if I go here to a picture of the kitchen, that's not the kitchen. There's the kitchen. There's our stainless steel stove. So that's where it's tagging in the stainless steel dishwasher. And so that's what we're looking at with those stainless steel appliance photos based on that image that was uploaded. And so that's photo match. And like I said, the consumers can also do that with the Collab Center. You know, they're in an open house. They see a fireplace they like, snap a photo of it, put it in a photo match. Now they're looking at properties that have fireplaces. So it makes it really easy to find things that may be harder to search with. And in Paragon Connect, as a listing agent, besides the listing insights that we talked about, there's also a sell side tracker widget that gives you some of that same information. So if you're a listing agent, it's a really great way to get information about those properties right at your fingertips right there in Paragon Connect. Also in Paragon Connect, when you're entering listings, it has a way to use AI to generate the public remarks. If you have the address, city, state, and 3 photos minimum, then it can actually generate the public remarks. So you don't have to come up with 1,400 characters on your own. And it gives you different styles that you want, if you want, and it can do that for you. And so that's the AI remarks right in Paragon Connect. That is, again, not in Paragon Classic. When you're in Paragon Connect, just a couple of things to remember. When you're searching by address, enter the things you know will be there. Don't put in the street direction or the street type. If you're looking for 1603 West Streamside Avenue, put 1603 Streamside. Because if you don't enter it the same way as the agent did, it's not going to match. If you spell out the word avenue and they put in AVE, those are different. And so it won't find that. We talked about the client view as the default view when you share listings. When you're entering criteria, if the count says 0, it's really 0. Paragon's not broken. It's not out to get you. It just typically means either your criteria is so specific that nothing matches, or you have things that are conflicting. Like you've got the city of Meridian, but you picked a school in McCall. Obviously, no listings are going to match that. And so the count is there to let you know if that criteria is valid. And then we already talked about the 90% of links that are on mobile devices. And then we have a weekly newsletter that comes out every Tuesday morning. We try not to be too obtrusive, but anytime there's new rules or new features or new training updates, either from us or from our vendors, that information is always in the newsletter. So it's definitely worth taking a glance at once a week to make sure you're on the top of the information from the MLS. All right, so let's talk about some other tools that are provided. The Homes Pro app is another mobile app you can use, and it gives you agent information. It's the agent side of Homes.com. And so you would create a Homes.com account as an agent, log into the Homes Pro app, and you can see agent information just like you can on Paragon Connect. It's a little different kind of app, but if Homes.com is something you're working with or your clients are using, it can be useful. The one thing to remember with Homes Pro, Homes.com, the agent side, is their tagline for agents is that the listing agent always gets the lead. So think about that. How does the listing agent always get the lead? Because the listing agent name goes with their listing. So when you share a listing from the Homes Pro app with your buyers, they're going to see who the listing agent is. And so you just want to keep that in mind, whereas with Paragon Connect, of course, the MLS doesn't do that, but Homes Pro does.
So if you're a listing agent, you share your own listing, that's great.
That's a good thing, yes. And if you have a buyer rep agreement and they're locked in with you, it's not a bad deal either. It's just there isn't a way to not do that. And Homes Pro replaced an app called HomeSnap that a lot of people like to use. Homes Pro does not have near the features HomeSnap did, and HomeSnap didn't share the listing agent information where Homes Pro does. CRS data is the tax information. It's where you can search for public record information. It's linked to listings. You're not limited to listed properties. You have tax information in all of the state of Idaho, Malheur County in Oregon, and 3 counties in Washington. There's a few different ways to get to CRS data. If you're on the gateway, there we go. CRS data is right here. If you're in Paragon Classic, under tax, there's the CRS data tax search. If you're in Paragon Connect, right here under the resource links is the CRS data tax search, and it comes up and lets you search for properties. When you're looking at a listing, there's a link right here to the CRS data property report. That brings up the tax information. So there I've got the lot dimensions, the photos from the listing, owner information, parcel data, sales history if it's available, tax assessment, tax history if it's available, mortgage history if it's there, property characteristics, legal description, all that kind of stuff you get from those properties. And if you just go into CRS data, you can come here and do a search. So I could come here, search for a property that's not listed. If I could spell right. And then here's a property that's not listed, but it's got all that same kind of data in there. And then you also, from CRS data, can do prospecting to farm owner data. And when you're farming owner data, you're using the map. So let's say I want to go here, maybe I want to get information from Meridian. So I'll zoom in here into Meridian, choose Ada County as my only county. So maybe I'm going to look here kind of by Eagle and Victory. And then once you have the map where you want it to be, then you can come here and draw a shape. I'll just do a rectangle. So you click in one corner, click in the opposite corner, and when I hit include, now that shows me that there are 570 properties there. Over on the left, we have some filters. So for example, if I want to come here to owner type, I can choose absentee out-of-state owners, and now it shows me there's 22 absentee out-of-state owners in that area. And then I can export a spreadsheet, or I can create mailing labels. If you're exporting, it's going to have you choose your Avery label, and then when you hit create labels, it's going to have you verify that you're compliant with Idaho code. If you're concerned about that, make sure you talk to an attorney or your broker. I'll show you how I think you're compliant, but I am not an attorney and this is not legal advice. So I hit accept here, and then it creates these mailing labels, and you'll notice that all of these addresses are not in Idaho. And how I think you're compliant is it has the or current resident there. But again, if you're concerned, talk to your attorney, talk to your broker, and then let you know for sure. And you can export up to 5,000 addresses a month. So if you need more than 500 or 5,000, if you need more than 5,000, get a buddy, and now you have 10,000. That resets every month. And so that's the CRS data tax suite, the MLS tax suite. Oh, and the last thing to show you with that, I didn't mean to forget, is in addition to the CRS data property report, when you go to the third-party integrations, there's the property report. They also have a quick CMA and comparables report that you can access there as well when you're viewing a property. Cloud CMA is a tool the MLS integrates with to create CMAs, buyer tours, property reports, and flyers. When you're looking at listings in Paragon Classic or Paragon Connect, there are icons there to create a buyer tour or a CMA or a flyer. You just click on the link and it takes you right in there. They have a live view of the CMA, which, like the Easy CMA from Paragon Connect, is a link, so it's mobile friendly. So they can open it up on their phone instead of having to view it as an 8.5 by 11 PDF. They also have different themes you can select to make sure your branding matches your brokerage. They have different layouts for flyers you can create. They also have a live view of the buyer's tour. So if you're going to do showings, instead of printing out flyers to give to your client, you could send them a link and then they can click on the properties and view it all on their phone. And then Cloud CMA also includes a lead sharing tool. It's a link that you can share via social media or in your email signature. It's the What's My Home Worth landing page. It just allows someone to put in their address and email address, and they're sent a market report in your behalf. And you're sent a copy of it as well with their contact information so you can reach back out to them. The thing to remember is it's just going to work within our MLS. So of course, somebody putting an address in from Utah, it's not going to work. It's got to be within our MLS for that to work. And that's Cloud CMA. And like other tools, we have classes on Cloud CMA as well. Rate My Agent is a tool that lets you share links for reviews with your clients. And Rate My Agent uses that information with search engine optimization to have it come up when someone searches for you. Like they search for you as the listing agent. In addition to the property, it would bring up reviews from your clients. CardoFront is a tool for flood insurance. There's a little CardoFront icon on the detail report in Paragon Connect and Paragon Classic. And it only works with active residential listings, but it will come up and give you flood insurance coverage from FEMA and a lot of times from private party vendors as well for those properties. InstaNet and Form Simplicity are the two forms programs that the Idaho Realtors use to provide their forms to their members, and Intermountain MLS is integrated with both of them the same way. So a couple things you can do. First, if you're filling out a data form in InstaNet or Form Simplicity, you can send that to Paragon to create a partial or an unpublished listing. And then you can go in the MLS and finish the listing and save it live. You also can bring up a property and click on the InstaNet or Form Simplicity icon, and it will create a transaction and import data from that listing into your transaction as well. They both have an electronic signature component with unlimited use. For InstaNet, for Transaction Desk InstaNet, it's called AuthentiSign. For Form Simplicity, it's called SableSign, and it's integrated with the Idaho Realtors forms, so they already put the initials and signatures everywhere they need to be on those forms that you're using. So those are the two forms programs the Idaho Realtors provide, and that Intermountain MLS is integrated with them. ListTrack is a tool the MLS integrates with, but we don't provide it. To use it, you need to subscribe to ListTrack, and there's a link on the gateway that will take you to their page so you can sign up to use them. But what it's for is a listing agent. It gives you analytical data about your property, like where it's being viewed on websites like Zillow compared to other websites or something. You can also see a map where they're being viewed, and a seller report can go out weekly. So here's a screenshot of, for example, of a graph. If you can't read the bottom down here, this red line is Zillow for this particular property. So it's just showing how many views it had on each day. And then here we have the same kind of information on a graph. And then a map showing where the property is being viewed. This particular property the screenshots were from was in Boise. But of course, they're getting some hits down here in Utah as well. And on the weekly seller report, we can see the number 4 city for the last 30 days was Salt Lake. But that's ListTrack. The way listing syndication works is the designated broker uses the ListHub tool to choose the syndication channels, the different websites. Most brokerages choose them all. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. But that's how the listings get there. And people always ask, can I have a list of the websites? The broker can go to the ListHub and print out a list of those websites. We don't have a list of those. Kubicasa is probably the newest product we started working with about a year or so ago. It's a tool for creating floor plans. And you can create floor plans for free on the gateway. So if I bring the gateway up here, Kubicasa is right here on the gateway second row here. You'd go in there and create your account and then download the app to your phone. And then it uses the sensors on your app to create the floor plan. And creating black and white regular PDF floor plans is no cost. But if you want to do like a 3D floor plan or even a 3D walkthrough floor plan, there's costs involved with those. But this is the 3D floor plan, the 2D PDF floor plan that's free. This is the building we're in right here. I mean, there's the room we're in right now. And so if you have been in membership in their offices before, these two offices right here have rounded ends on their desks. I did not go walk around the desk with my phone. I just waved my arm in there like I did every other room, and the sensors picked it up. This is the 3D version of that, the one that there's a cost involved with. So it just depends on what your client's needs are, what your needs are. But the black and white floor plan is free.
Does it give you square footages too?
It does. It'll give you the measurements. Yep. So that's Kubicasa. Everlance is probably the oddball of all the tools. It's a tool for tracking expenses. So it's not exclusive to real estate. Their tagline used to be, you replace a shoebox of receipts. But you, just like Kubicasa, you can go here to the gateway. Everlance is one of the tools here. And then you can create your account and then download the app, and you can log in and swipe your expenses for business or personal. The average deductions was from a few years ago. They don't update us every year. But it makes it really convenient if you don't have a way to track those expenses. If all you're using is an Excel spreadsheet, this might be a step up above that. And then you can export that data for whatever you need. But the MLS doesn't provide it. There's a cost to use it. And depending on if it's iOS or Android, it's a little different how they have it set up for the cost. But that's what Everlance is. Rent Spree is a tool the board was able to get for our members to use for free. It's a tool for rental applications for property management. A lot of agents probably don't use this, but the board loves free stuff, and so that's why we have it. Broker Bay is our showing tool. Now, Broker Bay is under the same corporate umbrella as Supra, and eventually the Broker Bay app and Supra app will be together. But Broker Bay is where you can go in and, if you're a listing agent, manage the showings for your listings. And if you're an agent working with a buyer, you can schedule showings. If you're the listing agent, you can go in and choose how those showings are approved, if it's automatic or if you or the seller are approving those. You also can choose different times the showings are available, block off entire days. Maybe your seller's having a family activity and they don't want any showings on a certain day. You can block that whole day off. And then someone goes to schedule a showing, it'll just show it as unavailable. And so that's Broker Bay. Now, listings aren't required to use Broker Bay, so agents that don't want to use it can turn it off and they won't have the book showing. So if I go back here to Paragon Connect, you'll see this Broker Bay book appointment. If they had turned this off, that wouldn't be there. But it's there, and so if I click on it, it opens up Broker Bay. So I'm in there as a regular agent. So I can come here, let's say I want to show the house, and then I come here and do auto confirm. It's going to send it to that agent to confirm my appointment, and then let me know if it's available. So that is Broker Bay. The Realtor.com professional search is the agent side of Realtor.com. So anything on Realtor.com throughout the country, you have access to search. You're not limited just to the properties within the Intermountain MLS. Like it says here, search data from other systems, McCall, Pocatello, Idaho Falls, Chicago. And because it's a tool for agents, there isn't any advertising. And when you bring up a property, you're going to see the brokerage and agent contact information to reach out to them. It's only accessible from the MLS Gateway page. There's not an app or anything, but it can be pretty useful. There's also a link to it from listings when you're viewing them. Realtors Property Resource, or RPR, is a tool that NAR provides to agents throughout the country. It integrates public records data with listing data, and Intermountain MLS shares data with RPR, so you're seeing listing data in there, both active and sold data. They also have school information, neighborhood demographic information. When you're viewing a property in RPR, they have a valuation called the RVM, stands for Realtors Valuation Model. And when you click on the price or the view details, it will show you the properties they use to calculate that value. They also have a lot of market statistics, which is one of the strengths of RPR. And so you can easily share those graphs for market data. And they have a built-in script writer to help you with using AI to generate content based on those graphs. So if you wanted to share information on social media, or you wanted to create an email, it can do that as well. Plus, they have AI tools built into RPR Mobile also. The script writer lets you go and choose what you're going to create, the audience, and then it helps you create it by using AI. You can do those same things in RPR Mobile. Your login for RPR is not related to the MLS because the MLS doesn't provide RPR, NAR does. So it's your email address that NAR has for you and then whatever passwords you create. But Intermountain MLS does integrate with RPR because why wouldn't we? It's NAR. MLSs that don't integrate with RPR, I wonder about that. Why would you not want to provide a tool to your agents that lets them have all this good information? Anyway, so that's RPR. Our public website is intermountainmls.com. Consumers can come here and they can search for properties, and when they're doing a search, they can see it on a map, they can view it in a grid, but when they bring up a listing, they're going to see who the listing agent is. The MLS isn't scraping the data. We're not trying to do lead captures or anything. So when someone brings up your listing, they're going to see your contact information there on the listing there and to see who you are. We also have information there to help educate buyers and sellers on what the MLS does. So just for a second here, we'll look at the sellers video really quick.
So, you're thinking of selling your home? How do you find buyers? How do you determine the right list price? Your real estate agent, using their membership in the Multiple Listing Service, has the answers. See, the Multiple Listing Service is where real estate agents representing home sellers collaborate with real estate agents working with home buyers. When a seller's agent places a listing on the Multiple Listing Service, it gets in front of nearly every agent, working with nearly every active buyer in the market. Most home listings are then sent to public home search sites and apps. But this network of relationships, it's how transactions happen. Oh, and that list price? Your agent will use the multiple listing service to access the current and historical home sales information needed to help you make a smart decision. The multiple listing service provides the reliable information and access to buyers that are critical to any successful home sale. The multiple listing service. It's how you and your agent are in the know.
So that way buyers and sellers just kind of understand how the MLS fits into all this. I worked at the MLS for a while. I told somebody that once, and they said, "You work for Major League Soccer?" So a lot of people don't understand the MLS's role and how long the MLS has been around. I mean, the MLS is not Craigslist for home. If it was, realtors would be out of a job because we'd be using Craigslist to sell our homes. That's not what the MLS is. And so it explains how the MLS functions for both buyers and sellers. In addition to that, at the bottom of our members page, we have a link here to statistics that are updated monthly that are available to consumers. So we're in Ada County, so we'll look at Ada County. May is the most current version. June, probably out in the middle of the month. But I can go here to May, and I can see all the statistics. May 26 compared to May 25, year-to-date changes, median price, percent change, all that kind of stuff. Then we have existing homes and new construction. And then it breaks them down by price range, and I've got all that information available. And every county has that, so it makes it convenient for consumers to come here and see that information. All right, so let's talk a little bit here about antitrust. I've got an antitrust video that you get to watch.
All right, friends. This has been a wonderful evening. Great steaks and even better wine. But now I'd like to get down to a little business. Most of you I've known a long time. Scott, our kids played ball together. George, we played tennis together. I consider each of you family. Even you, Carol. Even though we're competitors, we've been through good and bad times together. Lately, it's been harder to make a profit than any of us have seen in years. I know I could stand to see more cash coming in the front door. So, next week, I'm raising my commission rate to 7%. Just wanted you to know. Obviously, what you decide to do is entirely up to you.
Believe it or not, that was based on a true story. In the 1970s, a group of real estate competitors were convicted of fixing prices on their commissions while they enjoyed dinner at a fancy country club, and the convictions were upheld on appeal. Antitrust laws haven't changed much since the 70s. In fact, they haven't changed much in over 100 years, but the ways that real estate professionals can get into antitrust trouble have changed. So, welcome to Antitrust 101 for real estate professionals. Let's start at the beginning. What is antitrust law? Well, the heart and soul of antitrust law is the Sherman Act of 1890. And while antitrust law is commonly associated with the prevention of monopolies, it also applies to individual agreements to restrain trade. In other words, an antitrust violation occurs when there is an agreement, an understanding, or conspiracy among competitors that unreasonably restrains competition. In real estate, price fixing and group boycotts are the two most common antitrust violations. For instance, our host at the club wasn't just speaking about his own business. He was encouraging his competitors to follow his lead when he announced that he was raising his commission to 7%. He didn't have to directly say that, although that's what he implied. And his guests didn't have to expressly agree to charge the same commission. But when they did, they had formed an agreement that broke the law. Price fixing is always illegal. It's considered a per se offense, and that means there are no exceptions or extenuating circumstances that will excuse an antitrust violation. And the penalties can be stiff, triple damages, even criminal liability, to name two. But don't worry. We're going to cover what you need to know to keep yourself from accidentally falling into that trap. Now, generally, price fixing isn't accomplished by a written agreement. Who's naive enough to write down something that's illegal? Most price-fixing violations are unwritten or verbal agreements. And agreements with competitors on other business practices like these are also illegal. Listing properties only on the same terms and conditions, representing a buyer only on the same terms and conditions, offering the same co-op compensation through the MLS, only offering certain types of listing agreements. Often discussions on these subjects are implied and take place in the most innocuous circumstances, over coffee, on the golf course, even on vacation, at a ball game. To avoid getting into trouble, remember, appearances count. Make sure that what you say to a competitor is exactly what you mean. Don't make statements that could be considered an invitation to fix prices or engage in other questionable activity. Just make your message clear. Okay, let's do a quick little self-test. You belong to the North Shore Swells Club, by invitation only. You all sell million-dollar homes, and once a month you all meet to discuss how to market them better. Can the members of that group agree to offer each other a higher commission split than they offer to other brokers? No, that would be price fixing. Consider disbanding or at least dropping out of the group. All right. At a meeting, you hear two competitors agree to fix commissions. So what plan of action would keep you out of trouble? A, stay quiet and don't contribute to the discussion. B, tell the group that it sounds like a decent idea, but don't say anything else. C, make it clear to the group that you don't want to be associated with their plan and then leave the meeting. D, all of the above. The only correct answer is C. Even if you stay silent, you could still be accused of joining the conspiracy. Silence may not be a sufficient defense. And you can avoid unintentionally being part of an illegal conspiracy by openly stating that you refuse to be associated with it. Or even better, be careful to avoid these types of discussions at all.
Nice putt. So, what are your people doing about that thing we talked about?
What thing? I mean, the thing with the web ads or that new broker?
The thing with the website. They're totally gouging us on those ad rates.
Yeah, we won't be using them anymore. Everybody's on board at my firm.
Great, mine too.
Yeah, good luck staying in business without our ad revenue.
Exactly. They should be grateful that we even advertise with them at all, but not for long. So, what's the deal with this new broker that you mentioned?
You know, they're the new discount brokerage.
Oh, yeah. They're offering like next to nothing for co-op commissions on the MLS. So annoying.
Ugh. What do we do? I hate working with them.
Well, you didn't hear me say this, but it's simple. We're not working with them anymore. You should think about doing the same thing.
Huh.
I mean, just think what would happen if no one did.
That's not a bad idea. I'll make sure we're in too.
Just make sure it stays between us.
Relax. How will anyone know?
These days, the most common potential antitrust violations seem to involve group boycotts. I'm sure you realize if a group of agents or brokers collectively try to put another agent or broker out of business, that would be considered an illegal restraint of trade. I know you would never do anything like that, but isn't that what you're doing when you casually say to a colleague something like, "I don't think we should work with that new broker"? Without even thinking, you're now on your way to a group boycott. And this is also true if you agree with other competing firms to do any of the following: not cooperate with a particular broker, not show a certain broker's listings, not advertise in certain media, and not use particular suppliers or vendors. The targets of these boycotts are often competitors who offer new business models. They could also be vendors or suppliers. And obviously, no one has to work with someone they don't like, as long as that decision is made independently. But encouraging your competitors to go along with your decision to not work with that new guy in town can get you in trouble. And the same goes for suppliers and vendors you think charge too much or you don't like for other reasons. Don't give them your business if that's your preference. That's fine. But don't ask or encourage your competitors to do the same. And under no circumstances should you say to your competitors anything like, "Let's do something to make these guys lower their prices." Okay, time for a couple more quick questions. If a multiple listing service creates its own real estate listing website, newspaper, or magazine for its participants to publish their listings, this could be considered an antitrust violation. True or false? False. Offering alternative ways to advertise their listings is a completely appropriate way for an MLS to serve its members. There just can't be an agreement among the participants to advertise only in the MLS's paper or on its website, and not to advertise elsewhere. Next, a group boycott is allowed under the following conditions. A, the boycotted firm is not a member of NAR. B, the boycotted firm advertises its flat rate commission structure. C, everyone agrees the boycotted firm is too aggressive or unprofessional. Or D, none of the above. The answer, of course, is D, none of the above. There are no conditions under which a group may agree to not do business with another firm under antitrust law. Don't even think about it.
Beverly, go to the association's Facebook page. You are not going to believe what's going on. There's a post about that referral company that's trying to join the MLS, and people are getting really worked up. Yeah. Max just posted that he is definitely not going to cooperate with them. And he's got 45 likes already. Call me back later. Let's talk about how to handle this. Great idea, Max. I've been telling clients that it doesn't seem like they actually take any listings, so why would someone want to work with them? I don't think they have any idea how to market property. Who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised.
There are lots of ways to get in trouble on social media, and there's lots of social media where it can happen. LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, blogs, not to mention texting on your smartphone and answering your email. The possibilities for unintentional antitrust violations go on and on. You don't need illegal intent to say something that's against the law, or something that someone will later claim was against the law. So be careful. Always remember that what you say in cyberspace stays in cyberspace forever. When it comes to avoiding antitrust claims based on your comments about competitors, your mom had some good advice to follow. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. Here are some more important points. Don't answer email or make comments on websites that disparage other companies or competitors. And don't get into discussions in forums that are disrespectful to other firms or people. Having said that, everyone falls off the wagon from time to time, and maybe you didn't even say something nasty about someone, but you took the easy way out to explain your commission rate to a potential client, and said something like, "It's the rate we all charge." Your statement makes it sound like everyone has agreed to charge that commission rate, and that's not legal. And maybe instead you said something like, "The association has a rule about our commission rates." The truth is, no association with an ounce of sense would adopt a rule like that. But don't panic. Follow up with that potential client to clarify your mistake after you talk to your firm's attorney. Okay, one last quiz question. Private communications between friends can't be antitrust violations because they are difficult to prove. True or false? It's definitely false. Even if it is difficult to prove, a conversation that results in an agreement to limit competition is always illegal. And what you think might be a private conversation or comment probably isn't as private as you think. your best option is just to not make troublesome comments. Always assume your words can be heard or read by someone else.
So while the market is challenging, I'm hoping that we can all have a better quarter coming up. All right, guys? I know we can do it. All right, moving on to the next item on the agenda. Okay, I wanted to say a few words about Big City Realty and the change to their pricing structure. Now, speaking strictly for myself, I am not pleased at all. I mean, it's tough enough in this market trying to make a living without Big City. But after speaking with several of you privately, I think we need to go further and really show Big City that their structure isn't going to work. And until they make changes to it, they're on their own, completely on their own, if you get my drift. Now, obviously, we can be a lot more effective if we can...
Oh, wow, look at the time. Is it 2:18 already? I have an important call scheduled for now. I'm so sorry, I really need to go. Donna, please make sure you note in the minutes that I left and was not present for this discussion. If it continues after I leave, which it probably shouldn't. That's Tim Evans, E-V-A-N-S. Don't forget the S. Okay, I'm out of here.
Here's a few more thoughts about participating in association meetings with competitors. First, there should always be an agenda for the meeting with specific topics. The invitation should identify the people who have been invited to attend, and that should include everyone in the association who might be interested, not just the popular kids or some other select group. The agenda should be provided ahead of time and spell out exactly what is going to be discussed. And when you get there, be sure someone is taking minutes. And the minutes should be on stationery that has the association's name on it, not on someone's business letterhead. And after all that, if it turns out that the group still discusses boycotts, price fixing, or other questionable activity, get up and get out of there, like our buddy Tim, E-V-A-N-S. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. And when you leave the meeting, make sure that the person taking minutes notes the time you left and the correct spelling of your name. Then be sure to tell your bosses what happened. Which brings me to my final thoughts for protecting yourself. Be aware. Make sure that you and others in your firm don't do anything that seems like an anti-competitive agreement. Don't participate in a discussion with competitors that involves how you intend to do business with other competitors, consumers, or service providers. If someone invites you to join them in a boycott or price-fixing arrangement, walk away, far away, and contact your attorney to find out what to do to protect yourself from any claims that you participated in an unlawful agreement. The Sherman Act has been around for over 125 years, but there are always new ways of doing business and new applications of the antitrust law in our constantly changing real estate profession. So stay educated. See you next time.
Any questions on that video or anything that we have talked about this afternoon? I know it's like drinking from a fire hose. The idea is now you kind of know what these tools are, so you can start using them and then find out what works best for you. If you have questions on the gateway where you log in, right over here on the right, you can go here to contact us. That brings up the members page, has the contact information for support, for membership, for rules, all that stuff's there. Any other questions or comments you guys have for me? All right. Well, that's all I've got for you guys. Have a great afternoon.